So although going to a HBCU definitely will be lit, and I understand it's really fun there. Going to a PWI gives you a real world experience and shows the diversity of the world. So like if I go to a HBCU, the world doesn't show an HBCU doesn't show an accurate depiction of what the world is like. So the world is not going to be 90% black. So that's why going to a PWI seems like a better decision.
The reason I chose to go to HBCU because in coming to college, I wanted to be around people that were like me, because for my whole life I've been around people that weren't like me. So I got that whole well-rounded thing going. So it says a lot about being around people that are like you. It gives it a sense of camaraderie. And I also feel like I'm not just a number. I feel like I can be myself, no matter where I am on campus or who I'm interacting with. So that goes a long way, because once you go back into the real world, everything's different and nothing's really comfortable ever, which isn't to deter you, but it's just not the same. I feel like these 4 years I needed that sense of togetherness and family and
I wanted to branch out and not be around just black people for the rest of my college career.
Because I wanted to be around my people, which is other black people.
Oh, they're so annoying. A degree is a degree, no matter where you get it from.
Hi, my name is Keisha Stills. I'm a transfer sophomore here at UNCG. I transferred out of Winston-Salem State University because although I am black, I feel like that I didn't fit in with that culture. And growing up, I always went to a predominantly white school, so I feel a lot more comfortable here at this PWI.
The reason why I chose Morehouse College was because the abundance of opportunities that it provides for African American males, and also just being in an environment where I see people like myself helps me strive to do better on a day-to-day basis.
I thought that an HBCU would be really cool. I thought that it wasn't representative of the actual American population.
Everybody's a minority, so you don't have that issue of, well, maybe I didn't get this opportunity because of my race.
You got to simulate real life, and that's what the PWI does.
I chose to attend not just any HBCU, but Virginia State University, because I felt a strong sense of belonging, and I knew that while matriculating at a place that shared the same educational values as I did, I could directly give back to a community that has greatly impacted my academic career.
I chose to go to a PWI because I wanted to give myself the opportunity to set myself apart from the people around me. Going to a PWI really made me push myself and focus on being the very best that I could be.
I didn't want to be feared of losing accreditation for my program.
The reason why I chose a HBCU is because all my life I was around, white people, Asians. I was always the minority, and this was a great chance to be around my peoples.
And I actually have black professors, so.
Even though people think HBCU is just full of black people, well, we got white professors, we got white people, we got Hispanic people, so not all HBCUs are just black out.
One of the big reasons was the fact that I was given the opportunity to grow as the campus grew. So that was a very rewarding feeling for me. The other big reason was the fact that it was so diverse. Coming from a high school where the majority was black, I felt like I needed to put myself in a situation where I'll be able to see similar faces that I may see within the workplace.
I think what is important is I am black, and choosing a black institution for academy, it is quite essential for me as a political science major.
I love my HBCU. I love my PWI.
I love my HBCU.
I love my PWI.
I love my PWI.
I love my HBCU. I love my PWI.
I just want to go ahead and apologize for the inconvenience as far as spacing and everything goes. We were expecting a big crowd, but not this big of a crowd. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Dara Walker. I'm a junior exercise science major, minor in public health. I'm also the Black History Club's current vice president and historian.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jabril Sutton. I'm a senior at Johnson C. Smith University. I am a history major, and I'm also the vice president of the Johnson C. Smith University History Club. Now, I'd like to present our e-board. Anybody with an e-board? Raise their hand. Oh, look at that. It shows up.
Alright, so we have some live stream guests here with us. This is actually UNCG's NAACP chapter. This is Giovanna. She's the president. We got some really good stuff to show you guys. It's going to be a fun program. So on behalf of Black History Club, I would like to welcome you guys to the 2015 PWI versus HBCU Debate School Days edition. Before we get started, I would just like everybody to be mindful and please stay respectful. I know it's going to get a little bit intense, and I know y'all can get hyped. I know Charlotte can get hyped. Charlotte? So please be respectful during the discussion. Hear everybody out, listen up.
Wait, I'm going to let you finish. I have a disclaimer. The Black History Club of UNC-Charlotte has no connection whatsoever with the events that took place on September 22nd, 2015 on this campus of UNCC. We are not responsible for the outraged students who believe that this event was being held to express their frustrations. However, students are welcome to express their very own opinions about the situation in a professional manner.
Alright, so as I was saying, it's going to be a fun program, guys.
I'd like you guys to engage in the conversation. This is important. And one more thing. DC! That's what I'm talking about!
What is a PWI? PWIs are institutions of higher learning in which whites account for 50% or more of the general student enrollment.
However, a historically black college or university was first established prior to the year 1964, and those communities and institutions were to serve the black community.
The majority of these institutions may also be understood as historically white institutions in recognition of the binaryism and exclusion supported by the United States prior to the 1964 Civil Rights Act.
There are 106 historically black colleges and universities in the U.S., including public, private, four-year, and community institutions.
The patterns and traditions of predominantly white institutions and universities are rooted within Western European culture.
Most historically black colleges and universities were created as a result of the American Civil War and were located in former slave states. Also, most HBCUs were developed with the assistance of religious and missionary organizations.
But you see, it's an historical concept of segregated education that predominantly white colleges and universities are defined and contrasted from other colleges and universities that serve students with different racial, ethnic, and cultural backgrounds. You know, just like HBCUs.
HBCUs were not always supported by the public eye, and because of that, the Morrill Act passed in the year 1980 was established, which said that for every grant-landed white institution, there had to be the same grant landed for a black institution.
Okay, that's true. That being said, the United States higher education is now rooted within the establishment of predominantly white institutions. But granted, over time, that system has changed.
And that was because of the act that was passed.
How y'all doing? Okay, so you already know who we got with the music tonight. Our very own DJ.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
All right, that was nice. That was cute. We have a lot of other people in the building. I know Smith out here. JC. All right. Also on top of that, we have Mr. Travis Jackson from HBCU Pride Nation as well.
Hey y'all. How y'all doing? My name is Travis Jackson. I'm the CEO and founder of HBCU Pride Nation. I appreciate being here tonight. And I just wanted to say that I eat, sleep, and breathe historically black colleges and universities. And we were founded under the 1890 Morrill Act that was signed by John Morrill. And shout out to Johnson C. Smith University. Shout out to the #1 urban research university in North Carolina. Now, I graduated from North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. So, Aggie Pride. But on a serious... On a serious note, I know that there's some notions about, like I put out a post and everything with UNC-Charlotte. So, I know there's some animosity, but I want you to understand that my intent is to never defame your student or slander you all. There was a misunderstanding, but I'm here to be a part of you all. And I'm here, okay? Much respect. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you go to a PWI or go to a HBCU. We all need each other. We all need each other in order to make our university and our youth better. Shout out to the Niners. Cool. 49ers, I know. Cool. But thank y'all for letting me be here.
All right, everybody. My name is Nicholas Bratcher. I'm a senior history major with a focus in education and museum studies at Johnson C. Smith University. I am the current history club president for the JCSU History Club.
And Don Sequoia Cottons, I'm a senior middle grades education major, and I'm the secretary of the Black History Club.
Nothing clear, but it's really easy. Ends up people dying and it's really crazy. But I guess it's just the contracts. The past an indicator that this may last. The news an indicator that the cops lash. This look like yeah, when the streets clash. So my people focus on deliverance. In this world where black means no other sense. Their minds all are focused on their excellence. Man, you don't know helmet, man, there's no defense. Run home, young brother had a front fence. Pulled over cause my mother had a dark lieutenant. Worst 45 minutes that I ever spent. I remember way back, I was probably 10. Injustice in this world isn't always trending. Something in this world that I always see the end. But it always going on, time repeats again. Time repeats again, time repeats again. And it always goes on, time repeats again. Time repeats again, repeats again.
I was on pitch though. I was on pitch for something.
Hey everybody, my name is Brittany Jones. I'm a senior and a double major in political science and African studies, and I am the founder and president of the Black History Club here at UNC-Charlotte. And again, we just want to apologize for any inconvenience. We were not prepared for it to be this many people, but to look on the bright side, this is awesome that we have this many black people supporting a black program. Good job.
I'm David Dixon. I am a senior, triple major in history, political science, and Africana studies. I graduated in December. I am the director of public affairs for the Black History Club here. Thank you guys for coming. Serves as the director of engagement for HBCU Pride Nation, where he develops community initiatives and partnerships. One of those partnerships has been the Charlotte Solidarity Coalition, which Mr. Chapman co-founded in efforts to build structure and synergy within the activist community. Mr. Chapman is a graduate of Johnson C. Smith University, where he lettered 3 years in football and founded the National Association of Black Journalists. Mr. Chapman is also responsible for modernizing sports broadcasting at JCSU as the host, writer, director, switching from a radio FM format to live streaming webcast. He is most notably known for his work as the director of field operations for the campaign that elected the 100th woman into Congress, Dr. Alma S. Adams. Mr. Chapman has a strong commitment to social justice and was a nominee for the Most Valuable Campaign Award by the National Organizers Institute in Washington, D.C. for his work on the Love and Protect Our Children tour in 2013. Mr. Chapman has a long resume. Mr. Chapman has led campaigns and mobilized communities in major cities like Chicago, New Orleans, Jackson, Mississippi, Charlotte, Youngstown, Washington, Harrisburg, Greensboro, and Charleston. As a member of Makes Up Opportunity Incorporated, he believes that service is the gateway to opportunity and credits his unpaid work to his success as a professional. Cheese.
I want to thank my frat brothers for making me sound more important than I actually am. Thank you so much. And once again, I want you guys to clap yourselves up because this is awesome. I mean, really. Second, I'm kind of mad because it's hot as I don't know what in here. You know what I mean? All these black folks in here, I don't know. It's like church in Savannah, Georgia or something. It's just hot. It's just hot. But I do want to introduce the panel. I want the panels to introduce themselves. I know you guys kind of already gave a brief synopsis, but we're going to be talking about a gambit of issues. We're going to be talking about everything from socioeconomic issues to the locations of our institutions, to financial aid, to food, to Chicken Wednesdays, you know. You actually passed me that. Yeah. So if the panel can just take their seats, please. Settle down, guys. Settle down. Right, and I think most of you guys already introduced yourselves, but I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic to you so you can go ahead and do it again.
Hello, everybody. What's up, UNCC family? How y'all doing today? That's good. I'm Devontae Thomas. I'm a senior this year. I am an exercise science major and a public health minor, and I graduated this year also. So, good thing.
All right, y'all. So again, my name is Sequoia. I'm a middle grades education major, a senior, and I am the secretary. And I'm Brittany Jones, and I'm the president.
Once again, everybody, my name is Nicholas Bratcher. Like I said, I'm the History Club president at Johnson C. Smith University and the History major.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ayana Perry, and I'm Miss History Club, and I'm a history major and a junior at Johnson C. Smith University.
Hello, guys. Alright, so my name is Jabril Sutton. I am a history major and I'm vice president of the Johnson Smith University History Club.
All right. So we're going to break this up into 5 different rounds, guys. And round 1 is going to consist of location, classroom size, and university diversity. So starting off, I guess we'll talk about location. You know, some people say that, you know, HBCUs are in the hood and predominantly white institutions are in better neighborhoods. And I want my friend Nick here to give us his synopsis or his take on location. Can you give us your take on location, Nick?
Sure. First of all, starting off, HBCUs, which were all founded pre-1964, they're all in predominantly black locations, predominantly minority locations that support minorities. These are all neighborhoods where maybe not all of us come from, but a majority of our people come from. And that's one of the important things when we talk about location at HBCUs. Also, when we're talking about HBCU, we're talking about Black-owned businesses in these neighborhoods. These are where our Black-owned businesses thrive at, in the neighborhoods that support our HBCUs. For example, we can use the historic west side of Charlotte, because we're all in Charlotte. There are majority of Charlotte's Black-owned businesses are on the west side of Charlotte. These are all businesses that are underpaid, under budget, because our people do not support these businesses. Johnson C. Smith University sits right on the west side, and we support our Black-owned businesses, especially on our side of town. We actually have two that is actually located on our campus. Also, sorry, I just want to read something up there. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the CDAC, which was founded in 2010. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. The CDAC is a Community Development Action Coalition. It is a national membership based on nonprofit organizations. It's a national membership based on nonprofit organizations that are advocates for historically Black colleges and the minority-serving institutions, MSIs. They serve the community through the development of wealth creation, economic viability, and also sustaining the communities. The CDAC promotes Black-owned businesses that are on and off campus of HBCUs, but they're also in the surrounding neighborhoods that surround most of these HBCUs as well. I feel that, especially as a financial obligation for Black people, I feel that our money does not recycle. The Black dollar turns over twice in our community. I feel that as Black people, as minorities, we do not know the understanding and the what it means to have our money have purpose. And that's the most important thing about supporting the locations surrounded by HBCUs, preferably going to these HBCUs, because that's a part of it as well. Supporting Black-owned businesses, making sure our dollar has a purpose. So if our dollar has a purpose, we're supporting Black-owned businesses. That means that the money and the community thrives. That means that the community thrives off the money that we are fueling into our communities. This goes to the same thing for HBCUs. All colleges are a business. If you want to treat the institution just like a business, you have to invest. You have to invest. Other races, no disrespect to anyone's race, but other races, they invest in their communities. They invest in their people. Going to an HBCU is an investment, and we need to, as Black people, we need to make sure that our money has a purpose.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one thing that I want to highlight and go a little bit further in depth about is that within the Black community, our money only goes into it one time. Say the white community, I believe it goes in about 9 different times before it comes out, right? And I believe in the Asian community goes about 5 different times before it comes out, before we put it in somebody else's hands. So I'm going to see if one of you guys want to tackle the issue of location or talk about location, or does someone from the audience maybe want to give their 2 cents on, I guess, the role location plays in these institutions, whether it be PWI or HBCU locations? Because I know y'all always building stuff. The 9 is always building stuff. Every time I come on campus, I got a new hall. I got like 10 cafeterias. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I want Chick-fil-A or Burger King. I don't know. Oh, my bad. Y'all eat healthy around here. Y'all got health initiatives and stuff. Hey. Look, Johnson Smith got Burger King. Hold on. Okay. So we'll switch to the next topic. And we're going to talk about classroom size. Go ahead.
Yeah, just want to speak a little bit about classroom size. Obviously, going to a PWI versus HBCU, HBCUs tend to have smaller class size versus us. I know everybody can relate. I mean, there's times when you have 200 people and you can't even get in the class or anything like that. But I do kind of want to debunk the stereotype that, just because it's a 1 to 30 or like 1 to 200, that shouldn't affect your performance in school. So I also feel like even with a bigger classroom size, it teaches independence and self-motivation. You have to go talk to your teacher. You can't sit back, because we're all here to get an education, obviously. So you got to go and pursue that education. You got to go get it. Also, I will say a lot of diversity is within our class. I mean, multiple races are in our classes. And along with that, I feel like you get to network with a lot of people. So, I mean, when you graduate, you probably know so many more people than y'all. But but again, I mean, networking with students, and again, like I said, I don't feel like classroom size should affect your performance because, like I said, at the end of the day, we got to go get it. We got to get this education. But I do want to say this also, that there was a study. It was a economics class, and they did a study, and they said that it wasn't the classroom size that affected everything. It was independent factors such as study strategies, attendance, or even general intellect ability. So again, like I said, to be a strong student, you gotta put the work and everything into it. So that's why I feel like classroom size, even on a PWI standpoint with a lot of students, it shouldn't affect your performance.
So are you saying that it kind of makes you want to turn into a leader or be more hungry in a sense where you have to really put your best foot forward to be noticed in the class? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. Okay, now does someone from our HBCU community want to speak on this?
Okay, as a person that goes to an HBCU, I would have to say that the smaller classroom size does help students, I feel like. Yes, though you have to be independent, I still feel like HBCU teaches you to be independent because our professors are not going to tell us, oh, baby us at the same time. Yes, I may be in a classroom where I have been in a classroom full of 5 people, but I've had to stay on my own because if there's only 5 people in my class and my professor calls on me, I better have my information to know what I'm talking about if there's only 5 people in my classroom. Whereas if there's 200 people in my classroom, then there's a possibility that if they might not call on me, so I have a better chance. But I'm not downplaying saying that if you're in a classroom of 200 that you're not independent. Because at the end of the day, I feel like as a student, regardless of what school you go to, you have to be independent and willing to focus and do what you have to do. Because you came to college and you spent money on that.
Because technically when you are in classroom, especially your major classes, you do have 30 people in your class or 50 people in your class. And regardless of what you're saying, it is all about independence because while we do have the necessary resources to help us pass, we have TAs, we have tutoring.
Thank you for your opinion and what you said, because I'm really happy that you're willing to.
Okay, thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Rufino Siakamela. I'm from Johannesburg, South Africa. I'm a senior major in psychology. I have the privilege of working as an ambassador for the school. And so I have conversations with a lot of kids who are interested in attending an HBCU. Our HBCU particularly thrives off of the small classroom size because we get students who come from high schools where they really weren't nurtured in the high school, so they don't have the grace to get into bigger institutions of their choices. And so our HBCU created a program where you get 3 different types of admissions: traditional, where they meet our GPA and our test score requirements. And then if you meet one or the other, you're put into a category. And then there's those who don't meet the requirements at all, and they are put in a different category. But everyone attends the same classes, and so it really isn't about the classroom size. It's about helping students develop, because at the end of the day, everyone deserves to get a higher learning education.
I agree with what you're saying, but like Devontae said, we have the opportunity to take initiative because we're no longer in high school anymore, we're in college. And we have a responsibility to go to our professors, go to tutoring, go to after office hours. And you use the word nurturing, and like I said, we're no longer in high school anymore. We cannot be baby because after these 4 years are up, we choose to go to grad school and get a job, or we choose to go further than that, and we're no longer in school. There's no one to baby us.
I'm sorry, guys, don't take it out of context. It's not about soccer. It's that the kids don't have the opportunity.
I'm not saying that they're being baby at all. It's that they aren't giving opportunities at other places to advance their degrees, so that we open up those doors for them to do so. And so yes, other kids do struggle and they do need that nurturing environment, and that's what we offer for them.
Awesome. And what I do want to point out, guys, as we delve further into this conversation, is that this is meant to, I guess, bring awareness to each other. So for the HBCU students to understand what the PWI students go through, as well as the PWI students to understand the HBCU students. So this event is, although it's very, I guess, divisive in its nature, we do want to build synergy in collaboration between the two. So we will move on to university diversity, and I believe Ayana will be speaking on that.
So I think the misconception that everyone has about an HBCU is that where every corner you look at, there's a black person. That every classroom you're in, there's automatically going to be, everybody's going to be black. And I think that's the misconception that a lot of people have about HBCUs, but in all honesty, as of 2011, 18% of HBCUs as a whole are non-black students. During that time, they said, but wait, guys. That was in 2011. They predicted that it was going to double in size after that time period. So that was in 2011. We don't know what exactly the statistics are as of 2015. As a student, it has doubled. We found out last week. And speaking, I can only speak for my HBCU as Johnson C. Smith University. I can say that I've met people from South Africa. I've met people from Brazil. And I'm not downplaying that there's not diversity at a PWI, because there is. But the misconception is that people don't think that an HBCU is as diverse as it is. Again, I've met people from Jamaica. I've met people from London, England. We have a girls' basketball team that's from London, England. I've met people from Canada. Our professors aren't even all black either. Currently, right now, 2 of my associate professors of the history department are white. We also have Asian professors at our school. So I'm not saying that we're not as diverse.
Hey, y'all gotta be quiet though, for real. Like, thank you.
So then when people say they would rather go to a PWI because they're more diverse than the HBCU, we can't really measure how diverse a school is, because you can't base it on school size either, because we can't really have a clear definition between diversity between JCSU and UNCC. But as HBCUs as a whole, we can say that we're more diverse than people think we are.
I feel like that misconception comes because when we speak to people from HBCUs, especially through social media, they're always like, well, I chose to go to HBCU because everywhere I look it's people like me, I'm surrounded by people like me. So that makes us feel that way, because, you know, I hear people say, oh, you go to PWI, you're around like white people and everybody you know, whereas, you know, at HBCU, like, I'm surrounded by black people. So I think that's where that misconception comes. You know, understand when we feel like, oh, well, it's nothing but black people there, but that's kind of what we're told, or what's implied. I appreciate your opinion.
It's okay, she big man.
Go ahead.
Another note what I want to touch on is that people keep looking at diversity as a skin color thing. Diversity is way deeper than stuff. Diversity is where you phone, things like that. Don't just look at my skin color and tell me that, oh, you have diversity. That doesn't count. Because half your people are probably from Charlotte or somewhere in this area. So be mindful of those things.
You people!
So, especially, I guess, diversity. So I'll give I'm going to be impartial, because I went to an HBCU for my undergraduate, and I went to a PWI for graduate school, so I have both sides. But during my time at Johnson C. Smith and HBCU, speaking to the diversity, there are people that are, so the diaspora, right? Everyone knows what the word diaspora is. I hope y'all know, right? Because we come in many shades and many colors, right? So just because, you know, we are all people of color, a brother from, say, New York, or a brother from California, or a sister from Trinidad, that in itself is diversity. And not to say that that's all diversity should look like, just different aspects of the diaspora. But as he said, don't think that just because it's an HBCU and as you said that everyone says that they are around their own people, I guess it's around their own people in the sense of their color, right? But there are so many different things so many different factors that kind of, I guess, lead to division even inside HBCUs. And I'll be honest in saying that, that there may be someone that may have an issue with me because I'm a light-skinned brother and they're used to all dark skins in Liberia, say, right? So there is always diversity, even amongst ourselves, even amongst people of color. So I'm gonna pitch this to someone else that wants to talk about diversity. Someone else? And okay,
Okay, so like not to down HBCUs or anything, but you have to realize that in the real world and in places that you want to be, a lot of times we are not there. We are not like black people or people of color are not in some places. So going to a PWI gets you to meet, helps you to meet people who are different than you and people who may be in places that you may not as a black person honestly be able to get to. And not that being black should keep you from anything at all, but having that ability to network with people other than you helps you.
That's round one, folks. That is round one.
HBCUs are a different type of ghetto. Those niggas shoot dice right outside of their dorms.
At LaShawn2B says, hashtag PWI versus HBCU. If you have a problem with the quality of HBCUs, then be the black student to attend and make it better, not run off to a massive school. What?
At Linzana says, attention PWI students, you are never welcome at Pretty Wednesdays, so stop coming since y'all have so much to say.
At Sophie Queen Bree said, keep your ashy chopped lipped asses at your PWIs with the uncircumcised dick smelling white kids. Wow.
At Queer Hipster said, get you a white man from a PWI. Man, they don't play games. See, all black men do is pray, work, uplift our communities, and love our black queens. But yet, we ain't shit. Bet.
At Anthony Martrell says, dear PWI students, you ain't nothing but a nigger and a C. They'll always see you as a nigger and a C. Oh my God.
At med_school12 reads, at an HBCU, a 4.0 at an HBCU is not equivalent to a 4.0 at a rigorous PWI. No shade being thrown, but that's the truth. Last time I checked, I worked for my 4.0 last semester.
At take_a_shot_G says, y'all acting like people don't have no reason to badmouth the HBCUs. Like their entire campuses don't be getting foreclosed. Foreclosed?
At Anthony Martrell says, hashtag UNCC, first thing first. I don't give a fuck how many black students you have. You will never be an HBCU. Drops mic.
At Josh95, HBCUs have a crown for everything. Miss Bathroom #1, Miss Dorm Building 7, Miss University, Miss Volleyball. Like dang, but I love my HBCUs. That's true though. They do have a Miss or Mr. Everything. That is true. I can't bring back.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is graduation rate, right? And we're going to have my brother Nick start this thing off. Brother Nick, would you like to bless me?
Let's get it.
Alright, okay. Y'all look like one stat that I want to speak about. Anybody hear me? Yo, fellas in the back. Hey, hello? Y'all good? Alright, cool. The thing I wanted to speak about with the fact was that the number one college for successful black women in the medical field still and always will remain the top three. But the first one is Spelman College. The top three are HBCUs for black women, and that's very important because we don't see a lot of black women in these fields, especially a lot of them thriving in these fields as well. And the top three schools for those are all HBCUs for African American women. So I feel like that's a very important stat, and goes to a lot of other issues that we're going to weigh in on in this debate.
Another thing I'd like to point out is that regardless of whether it's an HBCU or a PWI, black graduation, in a study done by the Journal on Higher Education of blacks within higher education, the stat is 42% across the board. So that's something that we as an entire community need to work on, right? That's something that we need to change, we need to transcend. And I believe black women, the stat came out that black women are actually out graduating anybody in college. All right. Does anyone else want to speak about graduation rates in terms of HBCUs or PWIs? I want to make this very engaging. I want the crowd to be engaged in this. Oh, just dropping over here. We're going to introduce her later. She's a black success story. So next, since no one really has anything further to say about graduation rates, we're going to talk about admission requirements, and I think that's something that we briefly touched upon before. And I'm going to let Ayana kick this one off.
Before I start off, I want to say that HBCUs were built for the advancement of black people. Before I begin with anything, HBCUs were built for the advancement of black people. Statistically, it has been shown that black people, minorities in general, perform lower on the SAT and ACT than any in general. Let's just be honest here. Because of that, HBCUs try to reach towards that demographic. Mainly the HBCU demographic is minorities. The average SAT score for an HBCU across the board is an 800. Yeah, that's only reading and math. That's just to get in. Does that mean?
Wait, Ayana, before you continue, don't forget that the tweet said a 4.0 at PWI is more than a 4.0 at a HBCU.
I don't think that.
You just basically said it. You just basically said it.
I'm going to start off by saying I got my 4.0 GPA last semester and I worked my butt off for it. My professors didn't help me at all. I mean, they helped me, but they weren't there in my face 24/7 telling me what to do.
They don't do that here.
You also said that your classroom sizes are smaller, so if you have 30 people in your class, your professor will be there for you because it's 20.
Number one, SAT score has nothing to do with the GPA that happens at a university. That's one thing. One. That's second. That shows that, when I show that we're not statistic, that actually that people with low SAT scores can actually do stuff at HBCUs or even PWIs. I'm telling you, I'm let you know. I actually got it under an SAT, and guess what? I'm actually going into that 5 incorporated.
You would have got in.
I'm a upstanding contributor to my society. So,
You would have got in. If you be honest. He said his SAT score was 800. He wouldn't have got in.
Okay, a couple of things, just because you brought it back up. I don't want anybody to leave here with the assumption that at HBCU, teachers are knocking on our doors telling us, here, this is the homework you have to do, because that's not the case. Not at all the case. With regards to a 4.0 being more rigorous and whatever, as far as I'm concerned, when you go in search for a career, you already have a strike, you're black. So it doesn't matter if I got my 4.0 at a HBCU, because if I have a 4.0 at a HBCU, and I'm going against you and you have a 3.2, guess what, boo-boo, I got the job. And another thing, with regards to everyone being so connected to this idea of diversity, more than 50% of black graduates that graduate from HBCUs are your doctors, your lawyers, your teachers. So I don't know what's happening with the PWI, but those communications, those connections that you're making are not that successful.
Sorry. We are all college students and won't be civil. Okay, great. What they were saying about the 4.0 HBCU PWI thing, in the workforce, people will recognize our 4.0 before they will recognize your 4.0. That is what they're saying. Because majority of employers are the people that are teaching us. They don't look like me and you. So they're gonna look at, I went to UNC-Charlotte, they're like, oh, that's a good institution. They're gonna look at Johnson Smith, they're like, oh, it's Smith.
I am a 49er, senior history major, minor political science, I would like to say, you touched on a couple of things. SAT, you talked about SAT and ACT was slightly wrong. Here's why. First of all, we got a lot of shade. We are all this together. At the end of the day, CMPD does not look like you all, does not look like people like us. Okay? The sheriff's office does not look like us. We are working hard to elect our judges and clerks of court. Elections are this November, next March, and next November. SATs measure aptitude. ACTs measure knowledge and application. Statistically, African American males and females do better on ACT than SAT. Statistically, more people take SATs for PWIs. What else were we saying? We're talking about 4.0. Your 4.0 doesn't matter. As he said, you already have a strike. We have a strike against us because we are black. So what you have to do is make sure your transcript looks as good as your face and your resume.
Oh, okay. I believe it.
Another thing, we're talking about graduation rates. In order to graduate, you have to have what we call retention. What UNC-Charlotte is very lucky, and I think blessed to have in this Queen City, is that we have a larger African American population for undergrad than most other HBCUs in the state. Not only that, but we graduate more people of color than most HBCUs in this state. And into African Americans and take out Latinos and Asians, we still graduate more African Americans than HBCUs in the state. So while we're talking about quality of education, make sure the quality of this dialogue is going on the same page as the education you think you are.
Hi everyone, my name is Nisha Stevens. I go to UNC-Charlotte now, but for 2 years I went to Winston-Salem State University. I am going to say that going to Winston-Salem State was one of the best experiences I have ever had in my life. And I feel like every black child
And you cannot continue to have this debate because white people look at this and they think it's funny. We are all getting an education. It does not matter where we go to school at. But I will tell you, there is a difference. There is always going to be a difference. We go to a PWI, there is a difference in things that we're going to learn that you're not going to learn at an HBCU. I'm a biology major. Regardless, the work that I do is hard. But I will tell you, the quality of work that I did at Winston is very different from the quality of work I do here at UNC-Charlotte. I had a 3.5 at Winston. I have a 3.3 here at Charlotte, and I worked hard for that. And y'all don't understand how much harder it really is. Nobody is trying to say, oh, we're a better school. We're just letting you know that there are things that we go way more in depth that we never did at Winston. And that's all I'm trying to say.
Oh, I just want to make sure I can talk because just like your president said, I'm not going to cut anybody off. I'm just saying, Smith was founded in 1867. We didn't have a PWI option. So without our HBCUs and our heritage, you guys wouldn't be here. Like he said, there's no reason for us to argue about the situation because at the end of the day, we are African American and we're trying to empower ourselves, each other. So there's no need for us to bash each other. You think your workload is harder, our workload is hard also.
She wasn't finished. She wasn't finished.
Wait, just to let you guys know, I feel like we should say this before the end of this. The point of this debate was not to divide, it was to bring everyone together and see how silly it is to separate a room because we go to a different school, but we are the same type of people. And we are all getting higher education. So don't get upset. The point of it is to have fun and debate. So I'm going to give the mic back to her. She's not ready to argue. No, she Brianna, take her.
I'm in with Johnson and I'm a transfer at UNC-Charlotte. I don't know, y'all both ain't, if you haven't went to a HBCU and transferred to UNCC or another PWI, you really can't speak on it. All I'm going to say is that in Johnson C. Smith, I don't know, all I'm going to say is that my black professors pushed me harder than probably a white professor would because they genuinely cared about, about how we do. Like, that's all I'm going to say. Y'all work is just as hard as ours. I can't undermine nobody's work. So if you got that 4.0, clap that up for yourself. That's great. So somebody can take that away.
Get behind the mic. We were talking about admission requirements. We done got all on topic, y'all. All right. So we're gonna talk about something that I personally feel strongly about, and that is Greek life. So Greek life at HBCU. Okay. And we're gonna talk about Greek life, and I am going to let Nick start off with this particular topic.
I think the brothers over Mix Up 5 over there, our road chapter has something to say. I think Brother Kai has something to say about that. He's alright. He's good. Alright, cool. Greek life, being in the MPHC organization, the Divine Nine, as you guys may know, most of these fraternities and sororities were founded on the campuses of HBCUs, with plenty of notable members of each organization that thrived and particularly went to HBCUs, and a lot, especially during the Civil Rights Movement, you see a lot of activists, whether you're talking about Congressman Lewis, whether you're talking about Martin Luther King, whether you're talking about Jesse Jackson, different strong, influential black men and women from these organizations, but a lot of these organizations are Pan-African organizations. I don't know if you guys follow Marcus Garvey and Pan-Africanism, but a lot of these organizations are Pan-African with Pan-African ideologies. They're based around HBCUs and the historic prevalence. Not saying that they're not saying that the fraternities, sororities, and PWIs and the D9 are not relevant, but from a historic aspect, they are historically prevalent to HBCUs.
Thank you. And at this time, does anyone else want to speak on Greek life? No? Okay. All right. You want to talk about being the bros on UNCC's campus? It's okay. Right? No? He's kidding anyway, y'all. He's kidding. I'm messing around. Kidding. I made it. Anyway.
Okay. If you look at some of the D9 orgs that were founded, they were founded at PWIs. The Alpha folks. Okay, understood. I mean, you say whoever we was trying to have a person. So, but I mean, I don't know. You look at the environment on campus, this involvement when it comes to Greek orgs. I feel like there's a difference just because if I go to John C. Smith, I can do a lot more on their campus than I can do here. Like Smith, I go to Winston, you can go to A&T, bruhs can run around acting fool, do whatever. Just because they have that heritage on campus. They've been around there since there you go. See, when the school open? When the school open?
First fraternity found on John C. Smith's campus.
Exactly. Y'all been on HBCU's campus for a lot longer than a lot of the orgs that are on PWI's campus. Y'all been there a lot longer. So if we're running around, if Picasso's running around acting a fool, people gonna look like crazy because this is a PWI, and I mean,
saying the culture
goes a little bit different.
That has to go back to, like I said before, these organizations are based on Pan-African ideologies. Everything down from stepping, from call and response, which most organizations do. All these different kinds of things are Pan-African. And some HBCUs, to be honest with you, don't understand the importance of that. They don't understand the historical and the cultural aspect of it. So a lot of people do not pay no disregard to it.
So you're saying they don't pledge? So you're saying they don't pledge? I was just curious. Because there is that sometimes like some conversation of being at a PWI and you don't pledge compared to going to HBCU and, you know what I'm saying, pledge. But I can't speak on that.
All right, sit down, man, bro. Go ahead. All right. So I'm gonna introduce Mr. Jason Terrell, Profound Gentleman. He's gonna get up here and talk about some of the work that Profound Gentleman does.
How you doing? Alright, so my name is Jason Terrell. I didn't go to UNCC or JCSU. I'm at Affirm University. I graduated in 2012. I was a double major in political science and philosophy with a minor in Black Studies. After college, I did TFA here in Charlotte. So I was a classroom teacher for 3 years.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I went to University of Cincinnati, graduated in 2012. Teach for America. Anybody apply for Teach for America?
So I know we're in the space within the HBCU PWI debate. I'm away from a teacher. I know how to do this. Alright, so I know we're in this space, but the stark reality is if our kids aren't being prepared at the secondary and primary level, they're not going to be able to make it to this room. And so we have an organization where we recruit, develop, and retain Black male educators. So we understand that Black male educators, they provide a profound additional impact to kids. So if you want to become an educator, if you're interested in education, you can be the ones that we kind of talk to for that. So we have a network right now of over 300 Black male educators. Our largest network's in Charlotte. So not only do we develop the brothers in our network, we also try to recruit more brothers into the field because we understand that when kids see positive role models of success, they do better in school, that's period. And so that's why we need more Black males in the classroom.
So just really quickly, any educators out here, any education majors, just simply just raise your hand. Cool. We actually like to see you all first to be a part of like this internship. You'll be able to see like background information about like what it means to be an educator and to develop educators. So We currently have an internship, a marketing one, as well as a policy one. If you're
Very quickly, my name is Yolanda Trotman. I am a district court judge. I was elected in November. I am a proud 49er. Class of, I'm not telling. But I was a history major and I was a teaching fellow. I was a teacher here for 3 years before I went away to law school. Went away to law school, came back. I say all that to say is that my experience was very different because I chose UNC-Charlotte because I was a teaching fellow. It was strictly economical because that's what my first choice was. But I chose the University of Pittsburgh for law school for many of the same reasons. When I heard about the event from Jeremiah, I was a little concerned, especially what I happened to see on social media in terms of the statements that have been made recently in terms of UNCC's leadership, which quite frankly, those of you who are 49ers, none of that is new because when I was here for my 4 years, 3 of our 4 student body presidents were black. I was chairman of the chairperson of UPB, so this is not a new concept. However, what troubles me, honestly, hearing both sides of the story, hearing people who went to Smith, hearing people who went to UNCC, the fact that this room is divided has been counterproductive. Because when I am in court every day, I see so many people who look just like us. And it has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that we have to be realistic. We have to find a way to come together. My hope is that you will have an event that piggybacks off of this, that will bring Smith and UNCC together with a very different dialogue, with a very different concept in terms of really having a dialogue that's not divisive. And I know that's not what the intent was. So I say all that to say 2 things. First of all, it doesn't matter where you go if you do not know who you are at your school. So if you go to Smith, if you go to UNCC, it doesn't matter where you go. Because when at UNCC in my day, there were very few of us, but we were very connected. But this was also a time when where quite frankly, I think we were a lot more conscious because of the culture, because of who we were, because we only had each other in that situation. I can't speak to what it feels like to be at Smith now. I can't speak to what it feels like to be at UNCC now. But what I can speak to the fact is, if you don't know who you are, if you don't know your history, if you don't know who you are at your core, how you project, who you are, who you circulate yourself around, where you find yourself in your positions, in your situations, only you can control that. And regardless of where you go, you have to be mindful of that, of your blackness, what that means as a woman, what that means as a black man in America, as a black woman in America, and how you navigate that. Because we can't do it as an island. We are not an island. But we cannot do it as individuals. We have to do it collectively, young brothers and sisters. We have to. Because if we don't do it at this point, what I see in my courtrooms every day is just going to get worse and it breaks my heart. So to see a room full of people coming together, even though this was controversial, it's just a start. But you cannot leave, please, Smith, don't leave this building feeling a certain kind of way. 49ers, don't leave this building feeling a certain kind of way. What I challenge you to do is to think about who you are as an individual, but celebrate each other. Regardless of where you went to school, celebrate each other because at the end of the day, we're all we have.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So that is actually, she's a great segue into our last segment here. Is going to be Black Consciousness.
Hey, thank you all for coming out tonight. We hope that you understood the purpose of this event. Thank you, Judge Yolanda. And you guys have a wonderful night.